Bye, dear.
Hello guys, I'm Super Ron, welcome back to the channel, and like they say, do a job you love and you never work a day in your life, and that couldn't be more true when you have stunning cars like this in.
Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. Day we hustle, but the night we know that they ride or die. Know that they ride or die.
We've got this stunning Porsche 911 GT3RS, unmistakable by its massive spoiler. Everything about these are extreme and track ready. The brakes, the tyres, the vents, the spoilers, they do look amazing. I've actually worked on this one before. This is one of our regular customers, Car Crazed Fool. That's his 2002 we've done a lot of work on. And this one he bought brand new, spec'd himself, the colour scheme. Even got his plaque in the door frame. But these are the race ready ones with the roll cage, the harnesses. And something we do a lot with our Porsche owners, when they buy them they put an aftermarket exhaust system on it, and then when it's time to sell we put the standard ones back on. So we've got the original exhaust still here, so we've just got to take this one back off, swap it over, and then sadly I think this one is going to go, but no doubt he's going to be getting something special next. Here's the exhaust system. As you can see, absolutely stunning titanium system. Not a lot of silencing, just straight through pipes. Does sound amazing flat out. He has got a fleet of 911s, so I think he's hoping this might go on his Speedster. So we might have that in to fit that. But for now, let's get this one off. Everything is absolutely massive on this. The size of the tyres. Centre lock 21-inch wheels. Even the back brakes are massive. And the fronts haven't even got a chance. What a span. And this car is a 2019, so it's a 991.2 batch 1, which means it's pre-GPF, which is gasoline particulate filter. So it hasn't got any of that on. So let's get this lovely one off and get the standard one back on. And here they are side by side. As you can see, the titanium one is a work of art. It's made by JCR Developments and it is light as a feather and cost a fortune. As you can see at the top there, they still use the bypass valves, so it can either be straight through or have a little bit of silencing. But let's get this old one back on. Next up, what you saw in the background here is this stunning classic Mini. And this one is a little bit special because it's actually a Japanese import, a proper JDM Mini, and it is jam-packed with spec. It may look like it, but this is not your usual classic Mini. It's been in with us for a full respray, and as you can see, Lee has done a stunning job. The paintwork is absolutely like glass. It's all in the original colour, and it looks even better than it would have came out the factory. Any eagle-eyed Mini experts will see that this engine bay is actually pretty full compared to normal, and that is because this is a very well equipped car. It's still got the original A series engine in. It's a 1.3 litre, but it's fuel injected. And the alternator is not normally up the top like this, barely fits in the engine bay, just closes under the bonnet. And that is because it has an air conditioning pump under here, because this is fully factory air conditioning equipped. Got the original Mini radiators on this side, but on this side is the air conditioning radiator, with a big fan blowing into that side. So you've got the ECU, everything is just jam-packed As you can see, there is not a lot of room to work in here. Inside is just as tight. Got the air conditioning controls on the dash, but the blower motor and everything is actually in the footwell of the passenger side. So there is not a lot of leg room in this, even less than a normal Mini. But it's an awesome car. Got all the Rover Japan, all the original JDM bits and pieces. Just got the last few bits to go back on this, and I'll be going back to a very happy customer. He likes going to the Mini shows, so I'm sure you'll see this one around. But from the outside, unless you know, it looks like a regular standard Mini. Got the rest of the panels to go on. See, looking absolutely stunning. Got a much larger fuel tank, and also there's a full fuel sender for the fuel injection system in there. Lots of little bits you wouldn't normally notice, but as we've had this one in pieces, it's been really, really cool to see. But this engine bay is absolutely full. I reckon you'd have more room putting a red top in the front of one of these. So we've just got to get the rest of it back together. And now to catch you up with the big project I've been doing this week. You saw this Mk2 Golf in a previous episode when we just finished the Mk2 Golf with the Seat 16 valve ABF engine. This one came in, it's got the Mk3 ABF engine, and this was originally an 8 valve GTI, and someone has done a 16 valve conversion. It's all been done really nicely, all on the factory mounts, all the wiring's been done nice, but then it is sat for quite a long time. So this was more of a recommission, and the owner chose to upgrade bits as they go as the recommission went on. So there's quite a long list. We had a cam belt, a clutch, a full service, so all the fluids, all the filters, new plugs, leads, dizzy. Because it had been sat for so long, everything rubber had perished, so all the vacuum lines, the fuel lines, all bits like that we went over. And then upgrades around the rest of the car as well. Had new coilovers all round. As you can see, a shiny brake upgrade, a full exhaust system, and the customer supplied a really nice Mk2 4-branch manifold, and then they bought a full stainless exhaust from Germany as well. So we fitted all that on. So in the engine bay, like I say, it is already converted, and they've done a really nice job, but it just sat for a long, long time. So we went through all the rubber hoses, full service, everything was covered in oil because the rocker cover gasket was leaking, so I replaced the gasket. And because the gearbox had to come off, the subframes had to come out, the steering rack had to come off, it was easier to strip the whole thing down. So I took everything out from the bulkhead forwards, and it came out really nicely. So now it runs perfectly, just as it should. Let's take it up and I'll show you what I've been doing. So it already had a Mk2 oil cooler, you can just see there through the grille. That was part of the conversion already done. But we upgraded the brakes to the G60 items to cope with the new power, and some Stance Plus coilovers. We actually had to change the whole hubs to later hubs because the earlier ones, the carrier is part of the hub, so you can't do any big brake upgrades. So there's the old baby discs, and this is the old suspension. Actually had Spatch Kryptonite gas shocks. They're all adjustable, bit of retro cool, but they're all seized up and manky. The new coilovers should make it handle a lot better. Then all the bushes were replaced with poly bushes, front subframe as well, and the steering rack, and all the bushes and linkages for the gearbox are all replaced. Full cam belt, water pump, all the belts were done. And it's got this really nice Mk2 4-branch manifold, comes down. And then there's a Novus exhaust system. And they end up with these nice standard looking GTI tips. Painted the rear calipers just to match the fronts. Exhaust system sounds really nice. Took a few little mods. Had to cut and shut the exhaust hangers and bend them to get it to fit a bit nicer. And the Mk2 exhaust came with a little section here. So I just had to weld it on, and that lined up nicely with the rest of the system. It's not too noisy because it's got 2 boxes in. It sounds really, really nice. As I was taking the subframe off, the steering rack off, the front subframe, I had to take the gearbox off. I ended up taking pretty much everything from the bulkhead forwards off because it was all being replaced and doing it all at once. But now with everything replaced, it's going to be a really nice ride. It's going to handle superbly. So I'm looking forward to giving this one a test drive. And then it'll be on to the next project. So there'll be a video on this one very soon. Something very, very special.
Yeah. Try it up a little bit, yeah. That 6-year-old. You want to set it